Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishnayos Kesubos, Parak Ches, Parak Ches, chapter 8, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Okay, so in a previous Mishnah, we had a machlokes, an argument between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel regarding a woman who acquires property. Let's say she inherits property during Eresin. She's muresa. She's, as we say, use the word betrothed to a man. She's essentially married to the man, just not completed with the suin, with the chuppah. And in that period of time that she is mureses, she inherits property. So Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel had an argument in that case: is she allowed to sell the property or not? And Beis Shammai said yes, but Hillel said no. Everybody agreed if she did it, the sale stands. So that's here. So this is that was a very specific case of where she inherited the properties when she was already mureses to this person, and now she wants to sell it. In essence, he doesn't have rights over the land yet. So one argument is let her sell it. The other argument is that by selling it, she's going to take away what he should get after he fully marries her, and therefore she may not sell it. That's an argument. But both agree once the sale is made, the sale stands. Now, our Mishnah deals with the following situation. We're going to deal now with what's called a shemeres yavim. If you remember from when we studied Yevamis, when a man dies without children, and his wife and his brother now has a mitzvah of yibum to his sister-in-law. His sister-in-law has what we refer to as a connection, as a yibum bond to her brother-in-law for either marriage or for chalitza. But at the end of the day, she has some kind of a connection to him that does not permit her to go and marry somebody else. Okay? So you've got the situation of a woman who her husband died, and she's shemeres yavim, and she's waiting for the yavim. She's in a state of where, yibum hasn't been done, chalitza hasn't been done, but the connection for marriage, for yibum, is there. And this is when the properties fall to her. This is when she inherits. And so the whole question is going to be, throughout the mission a certain way, this state of being. Meaning we started off previously of Eresin, right? Now Eresin, she's married to the guy. She's not fully married, let's call it. They can't live as husband and wife until after the chuppah. So the marriage isn't completed until after the chuppah. But there's a stage of Eresin where she's married, but not completely married. Now we have a woman who is in a state of yibum. She has a yibum bond to her brother-in-law. So she has a bond for marriage, but she's not married yet. So at that stage, what is her status? Is she going to be like an arusa? Is she not like an arusa? Because they are similar. They are a connection of marriage, but not complete. So now the Mishnah reads, shemeres yavim, a woman who was waiting for yibum, shunaf l'la nechasim, that properties fell to her as an inheritance. Okay? So now, if her brother-in-law makes yibum on her, and he becomes her husband, he gets rights to the land, right? Like any other husband, he gets rights of usage to the land. So now the question is, and now so she is a shemeres yavim. She's in a state of waiting for yibum, as we call it, and she inherits his properties, and now she wants to sell it. Yibum wasn't done yet, but she wants to sell it. Both Beis Shammai, Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel agree that she can sell it, she can give it away, and it stands. Here, everybody, as we said before, by Eresin, there was an argument, there was a machlokes as to whether she has a right to sell it or not. Here, there's no argument. Both Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel agree that she has every right to sell or to give it away, and whatever she does is less. It stands. Because the Mishna is saying that there is a very big difference between an arusa and a shemeres yavim. A woman who has eresin done to her is much more married than a woman waiting for yibum. Why is that? Well, we're going to get kind of a funny way of saying it. That she has this connection for yibum, which is a connection for marriage, but it's not as strong a bond to her possible husband than a woman who has eresin, who is married to her husband, basically. And the difference in by Yibum, the point is that can go either way, right? It can do Yibum, it can be Chalitza. By Erisin, right? The whole point of Erisin was to get married, to complete the marriage. So therefore, Erisin is clearly a stronger bond than Yibum, because than the bond of Yibum, because at this point of time, there is a bond for marriage, but who says the marriage is going to happen? He could do Chalitza. But in the case of Erisin, why did he make the Erisin? For the purposes of marrying. Another difference is that to show you again the strength of the Erisin bond over the Yibum bond, is the fact that if this woman who's Mereses to one man cohabits with another man, she has committed adultery, and they're both Chayiv Misa, they're both liable to capital punishment. A woman who is waiting for Yibum and cohabits with another man, she transgresses a prohibition, but there's no death penalty to it. So again, another clear proof, another illustration of how the bond of Yibum is clearly not as strong a bond as that of Erisin, and therefore by Erisin, you have those who say that if she inherits something by Erisin and she sells it by Erisin, that she's not allowed to do it. Because at this point, although the husband doesn't have the full-fledged rights over the land, but they're married enough to say that that we should say he has those future rights. He already now has those rights for what he's going to go ahead and get in the future when he finishes marrying her. There's already enough bond to say, he's got these rights already. However, in a case of a woman waiting for Yibum, the Zika, that it's called, the Yibum bond is not that strong to say, okay, he's married to her, he's gonna in the future actually use the land, so he has those rights now. You can't say that here because it's a much weaker bond. And therefore, both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel agree that she has the ability to go ahead and to sell it and to give it away without any question, and whatever she does stands. Okay. All right, we are going to call it. We're going to stop here right now. The next part of the Mishnah gets into a different discussion, a more complicated discussion, so we will wait for that for tomorrow. Okay. All right, so again, we're continuing with the scenario of the shidduch that's being made, the match that's being made, and what if you know something about one side that the other side doesn't know, what you may say, what you may not say. So now we were dealing with the cases of where the father-in-law is promising a certain amount of dowry, a certain amount of support, and he's not going to keep it. He's not going to keep his word, because he's that kind of guy who doesn't keep his word. He really has no way of fulfilling this, or you heard straight out that from him he doesn't plan on doing it. So what do you want to do? You want to tell the perspective. You want to let the young man know that he's not going to keep his word.
You got to go to work.
Okay, that's not the point. Shemitzada chasen. So the third point is shemitzada chasen lo'tia remiyah. There cannot be any cheating from the chasen side. Because if the chassan is tricking him in some way, they basically cancel each other out. And you for sure can't say. Meaning, you want to tell the chassan, hey, he's not going to keep his word. If the chassan would know that he's not going to keep his word, he wouldn't go to the shidduch, wouldn't avoid any kind of problems. But what if you know that the chassan is also tricking the girl side? He's also tricking him in some way. He's also not being open and honest about something that would make a big difference to them. In that situation, they're both cheating each other. You don't say anything. There are some other conditions that are needed, as mentioned before. And therefore, when it comes to any of these kinds of situations where you know something about one side that the other side doesn't know, and you're considering that you should let them know about what they don't know, there's a lot of thought that has to go into it because of everything that we have written until now. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.